The first of the year, I continue on a tradition that my teacher, Kennedy Schultz, did in Atlanta, Georgia. And that was he would take the first 4 Sundays of the year and go over the first 4 chapters of our Science of Mind textbook. And it's just a good way to remind ourselves of our principles. And so today I'm going over the first chapter. I'll continue on to complete the 4 chapters. This chapter is called The Thing Itself, and I'm calling it First Things First. First Things First. And of course, if you've been in the recovery movement, that will sound familiar to you, which is a nice way to pay homage to my teacher, Kennedy Schultz. He said Science of Mind and recovery movement had saved his life. He said he had never turned down a drink unless he misunderstood the question. So I'm going to be covering this chapter, and it's a powerful chapter, the thing itself. And when we're talking about the thing, what Dr. Holmes is talking about God, the universe, the life force. We're not just talking about this deity way up in the sky, sitting on a throne, a male deity. We believe that spirit is more than just the male energy. First of all, if it was just a male energy, it would have blown this thing up long ago. It would have. A male energy with access to all power tools, it would have blown us up long, long time ago. So spirit encompasses more than that. And so we're not talking about a God of personality. We don't believe in a God that gets angry. We don't believe in a jealous God. How could it have those emotions? It's greater than those emotions. And we're talking about the impulse of life itself, to live well, to live in love and joy and prosperity. That's the God we're talking about, and that we can put this to work in our lives. Now, this new year coming up, as I mentioned last year, when you talk to especially astrologers, one thing they're struck about this new year is there's a lot of new energy coming into the world this year. And there's going to be some big shifts and big changes. I believe they're going to be for good. I believe we're on the cusp of seeing something really remarkable happening. It's going to happen in communications, technology, the economy, also in healthcare. There are going to be major breakthroughs coming in healthcare. So we want to celebrate those good things, weather the challenges we have, but know that positive energy is coming into our lives, and there's a way we can use it. There's a way we can create more good, even more than we can envision at this point. So I would encourage each of us today to have a vision of their lives and envision that life for having blessings just pour down, rain down upon you. And please don't leave here until, be sure to talk with me or Jim or one of our other practitioners about how to create that vision, a life with more love and joy. And then be willing to put some energy into it. Don't talk yourself out of it. And put your hands to work with what you can do. Don't wait till you win the lottery. Don't wait till the perfect partner shows up at your doorstep. Put some work, do what you can right in front of you to bring about this better, brighter, new day for yourselves. And then when you see even the smallest signs of a success coming, shout hallelujah, shout glory. Don't do it in the middle of the cheese department at Publix. It weirds people out. But proclaim Spirit's goodness right where you are. Because the universe is all about evolving. And so you are evolving. The good you can bring into your life is evolving. And you never know, you might be at the right pivot point to bring in something that's going to change the world. Change the world. Over the holidays, I watched a series on HBO that I really super enjoyed. I didn't think I would, but I really enjoyed it. It was about Julia Childs. It's called Julia. If you want a really feel-good series, this is it. You know, I didn't know that much about her. 6'3". When she was young, that was a very tall female. She's had a speech impediment. I just thought she was a Yankee. No, she was actually, that was a speech impediment that came down through her family. She was born to a very wealthy family in California. She never had to work. She never found her passion in life until late in life. And she found her passion when she was in France, and she started going to French restaurants. And she fell in love with French cooking. And so she went to all these cooking classes and cooking schools to learn how to cook in the French food authentically. And she wanted to bring that to America. Now, surprisingly, we think now that we live with processed foods. Our grandmothers, if you're younger than me, after World War II, it was all about processed food. You got macaroni and cheese out of a can. Spaghetti came in a box with the sauce. And, they were even recipes about how to use Spam or beanie weenies. That was the level of cooking. And Julia thought, well, gosh, I want to bring French cooking because it's just simple ingredients that are really delicious, and there's a joy to it. There's a joy. And she wanted to bring that joy back to cooking. So she started writing her original cookbook. French people they didn't have this concept, because when she wrote the cookbook, she would list the steps you had to take to produce the meal. The French people, they didn't have that concept. In their mind, anybody reading a French cookbook should know certain basic things. So they would just leave out things like add butter. You're supposed to know that if you're cooking a French meal. So she Americanized the cuisine, and it was a huge success. Nobody thought it would be. Nobody thought it was going to be. Her publishers, they printed 10,000 copies. They thought if we sell them in the first 5 years, we'll be lucky. Now, it also hit at an amazing time. There was an amazing event that she had no idea was happening that happened at that time. There was a handsome new president, Kennedy, going in the White House, along with his beautiful wife. And what did they do? When they got to the White House, they hired a French chef to cook in the White House. And all of a sudden, French cuisine became the hottest thing that everybody wanted to start doing. And so her cookbook started selling off the shelf. She also had gotten a chance to go on television, and she famously made an omelet live on television. That had been done before, but it was her personality that brought it to life. Nobody had had her personality, her ease, her delight in doing it. She then got to PBS and talked them into letting her do a cooking show. Before that time, PBS was really just considered themselves to be a classroom. They thought you would just bring a professor in and let him talk, and that was going to be their programming. Julia Child said, no, we need why not make it fun? Why not make it, joyful? And it took off amazingly. So here is this woman, had never really had much success in her life at all, and she is the creator of our modern food industry. When you see all these cooking shows on television, that came from Julia Childs. The interest in cooking came from her, and also PBS. That all came from her ideas. And if that kind of success happens for anyone, it can happen for you. It can happen for you. If it happens for anyone, it can happen for you. And so every time you hear some good news for somebody, glory in it. Glory in it. If you think they deserve it or not, that part's none of your business. You're to glory in the fact that it's come their way. And by doing that, you can attract even better to you. So we want to celebrate the small successes in life. We don't want to celebrate the large ones. Because if you don't celebrate the small successes, you will never see the large ones. They won't show up. You know, we had a theater group in here on Friday. They had a big, huge, successful event on Friday. I was here working Friday afternoon, and you remember Friday was rainy, it was dark, it was not a nice day. And I really became worried because our lights underneath our portico don't work. They're on a timer, and they've gotten mistimed, and so they don't turn on. And I was worried about all these newcomers coming to our building in the dark. Now, to get to the timer, you have to get to this storage area, and it is way in the back. It is piled full of all kinds of stuff. Jimmy Hoffa's body is probably in that storage area somewhere. And so the thought of going back there and turning it on, I just thought, it's going to be impossible. I got back there, I looked at it. All of a sudden, I looked at this little switch that was easy to turn on. I flipped it. It was the switch for the lights outside. I got them on. What a blessing. Now, here's the thing. All those people that showed up, they had the blessings of light that helped them get safely to us. They didn't know where it come from. They probably didn't even acknowledge it. It's just we think of lighting everywhere. But it was a blessing that happened for me that flowed to them. You never know how much you're blessing people around you. You never know how your willingness to step out a little bit and try something, to get on a shaky step stool and look for a light switch. You don't know what good that can bring into your world. So we want to step into that energy. Our world, our universe, life itself was created for one reason alone, and that was the sheer joy of it. The sheer joy of it. Spirit called you by name from stardust for the sheer joy of seeing you here in the physical plane. And when we align ourselves with that joy, we are opening up for ourselves all this cosmic power. And we don't know the great good that we can bring about. We have a powerful goodness that we can connect to, we can co-create with. Dr. Holmes, the founder of our teaching, he said that to envision a situation where God would have created us bound and leave us in bondage would to be dishonor the thing that we call God. It doesn't make any sense at all. We are here so we can experience the goodness of God made manifest in our lives. And when we have these challenges of lack and limitation, they have not been imposed by Spirit on us. Rather, there are things we have created so that we can better understand ourselves and better connect with Spirit and to know how powerful we really are. And we can also, we've learned by challenges, now we can say, I've given up on that. I want to learn through joy and love and laughter. This is our choice. I'm going to learn in the easiest way possible. Also, if you have big challenges, know that that's also a sign that you've got big potential. The bigger your challenge are, the bigger your potential is if you will let go of fear and resentment. Let go of fear and resentment. You know, I have known people who have had challenge-less lives. They seldom have very interesting lives. Yeah, and there's not a lot of growth there. So we want to, be willing to accept the challenge and say, there is something better coming from this. You just think about Julia Childs, 6'3". What if she had been 5'2"? We may have never heard of her. We may never have heard of her. It was the challenge of being different that gave her the energy to say, okay, I'm going to take this difference and I'm going to make a difference in the world. And that's what she did. Dr. Holmes says they may be dark nights, they may be storms, but there's always this voice within us, always urging us on, giving us guidance that we are not alone. He says, when the night seems the darkest and the storm threatens to overwhelm us, remember you have this enduring presence within you, this eternal voice. And despite the mistakes we may have made or the stumbling, this voice is reminding us of our transcendent purpose woven into the very fabric of our existence, a purpose that goes beyond the trials of the day that we are experiencing. So to rise above any of the challenges we might have, we encourage you to practice a fundamental practice of our teaching. It's a very easy one. We can train you. It's something that comes naturally to you. And it's called affirmative prayer. Praying as Jesus did. Praying believing. Believing in what? Believing in the best of yourselves. Believing in the best of each other. Believing the best of life and believing the best of the world. The good is on its way. And that we have a way, that we are here to bring about that good. And project that good out even when there are moments when you can't see it out in the world yourself. No, there is good coming because God and I proclaim it. Spirit and I decree it. The doctor may be telling you one thing, but God and you know something different. The banker may be telling you something, but Spirit and you can know something more powerful. Don't believe in what the world is telling you. Believe what Spirit is whispering to you. And what Spirit is whispering to you is that you are glorious. You are wonderful. You are here to make a difference. You're here to bring about a better life. And through prayer, you can do this. You can envision it. So get into a habit of prayer. Pray for yourself. Pray for those around you. Pray for our leaders. They need prayer right now. Pray for the ones you like. Pray for the ones you don't like. Pray for them all. And then get somebody to pray for you. Jim will be happy to do a prayer for you. I'll be happy to do a prayer for you. There are other people here that will be happy to do a prayer for you. It's a wonderful thing to do prayers for someone. Now, people will ask me, how do we know prayer works? Well, here's a way you can convince yourself today that prayer is powerful. You cannot help but be encouraged when you do a prayer for someone. When you pray for someone, automatically you're going to feel better. Well, that's a sign that that prayer is powerful. You know, I've had a prayer partner now for over almost 20 years. There was a time that she was going through chemo. And during that time, I told her, I said, well, look, I said, don't worry about doing the prayers for me. I'll just do the prayers for you. And she came back and she says, we did it a little while, and she said, that's not working. She says, I need to do the prayers for you. She says, when I'm doing prayers for you, it's like I'm having a saline flush. It's flushing out all these toxins in my system. Praying for others is a powerful tool. This, in Scripture it says, pray unceasingly. This is what we want to do. And praying unceasingly is that voice within our head that's commenting about everything. Well, when we can get that voice to, instead of being negative all the time, being positive, encouraging, we are in the midst of a huge miracle. And great good can bring us back. So we want to get out and we want to be powerful. Dr. Holmes says that this is inherent in us, that we are here to join in that from the depths of our hearts and souls, to affirm our oneness with God, to acknowledge the inherent goodness of life. Life is good. It's a strange thing. So many people want to focus on the negative. Generally you talk to people, what are they going to tell? They're going to bring up negative circumstances. No, life is good. And when we proclaim the inherent goodness of life, we proclaim the glory of God, it will be manifest made from us. We will become channels of the divine goodness right where we are. And you don't have to become all saintly. You don't have to become all pure and wonderful. We don't need another Mother Teresa. It was lovely while we had her. We need you. We need you to step up. With all the little nooks and crannies of your personality. God doesn't condemn them. God loves all of them. God knows what you're dealing with. And when you step up and say, even as I am, I'm going to channel every bit of love, every bit of joy, every bit of energy, positive energy, the cosmic forces will start rushing towards you with courage and conviction that a better day is coming. We can lift our voices to the celestial chorus that began singing way before we ever stepped foot on this soil, and we are here to join in that chorus. We are here to become agents of the manifestation of the glory of God, contributing to this grand symphony that echoes through the ages. We have been called by name from stardust to be here. There's a wonderful part of the celestial chorus that will go unsung until you lift your voice. You are needed. You are necessary. Life won't be complete until you step up and know yourself as God knows you. Wonderful, glorious, dynamic, courageous, powerful, and an answer to every problem you'll ever confront. We're on a wonderful journey. You're a part of it. We're making a difference. There's a new heaven and a new earth coming, and 2024 will be the year that it happens. It's the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you.